All right, this thing says I'm live. It's Saturday morning. It's 8 o'clock. Believe it or not, I'm up. I got a couple of hours sleep. Drank me a pot of coffee. Small pot. Almost tempted to drink another pot. Let's see, Abbott was in here at 7:48 and 7:51 a.m. Teresa Jukowitz. Well, howdy. Yeah, wow. No telling, huh? Believe it or not, I'm actually up. Yeah, I'm waiting for Abbott to pop up something else again. Make sure he's still in here. Well, it's supposed to be bad weather all weekend. It's supposed to be a lot of bad weather all across the nation, making it hard for people going back and forth getting home. Well, at home with Tom and Rhonda. Howdy. Well, Tom, unless it's Rhonda, whichever one of you it is, I'm not so sure about the good part, but I do know it is morning. That's about all I can say for it at the morning. Catfish dog. Thunder woke you up. There's Abbott. And Abbott, it is MAWNIN, not MAWN. MAWNIN means morning. MAWN means what you do when you open up that big maw of yours to take a bite of piggy. Yeah, I've been up since about 6:30. I was asleep. But then I kind of woke up. You couldn't go back to sleep. Because the kitty decided to lay beside me and do her little bathing and all that sort of stuff, bumping me around. River Rat 3030. So, I just a few minutes ago heard Rabbit Head go by the house. That fella on that motorcycle that I point out to y'all sometimes going down the road. He's got his bike decked out pretty neat. He's got some of them lights around his wheels, on the inside of the wheels there. They go down in there, you know. Well, yeah, that's a good defense against trolls. Good to have a lot of wrenches. Christy Betts. I hear you, Christy. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. But if I wake up, other than waking up to relieve myself, if I wake up other than that, it's a done deal. I'm up, at least for a little while. I didn't do a video for this morning, so since I was up, I figured, well, Rita, howdy. So I figured I'd do it live instead. I've been watching a lot of other stuff other than the usual. I've been watching a lot of the Benny Show and OK Rick and 5 at Fox or something like that. You do? What's the news, Rita? Tell us, tell us. Don't keep us in suspense. We got to know. Well, come on out with it now. I got some news, and then you say good news, and come on. We're hanging on the edge here. Oh, cool. New grandbaby next year. That's awesome. Gonna have another youngin' to spoil. Unless they starting to get to where they having too many of them, you need to tell them what that. We figured out what causes that.
One of my cousins is gonna have a new grandbaby next year. Due in July.
Who?
Beth.
Yeah.
Oh, Pate's youngest daughter. She's gonna have a baby. Not her, but her youngest daughter's gonna have a baby.
Okay, I was going to say, ain't she a little bit up there to be having youngins?
Beth can't have no more. Now, her youngest daughter, this will be her third one. She's got a little boy and a girl.
You made my brain do a flip-flop there.
Sorry. It's too early in the morning.
No barbecue piggy for this year. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of these other shows. I also watch one channel called Is Genesis History. I like a lot of the theories they put forth because they make more sense than the mainstream. Y'all want to get some really interesting ideas on how what happened when. Look up Is Genesis History. There's a lot of good stuff on there. Some of it's a little bit highbrow, but I know I got some smart people in here. Chrissy said I had a surprise grandbaby last June. They've been married 10 years, and surprise, first baby to get. Well, sometimes it takes that long. Unless they weren't looking to and said, oops. Maybe somebody's eating better and got a little bit more vitality. It don't have to be one or the other. It can be either one. Ernest. Anyway, I've been watching those shows. Getting up to date, if you will, on a lot of things out there. Man, I tell you what, things I've talked about language and understanding language and the art of listening and all like that. Well, she did good then, Christy. No, Abbott, I didn't. It went. Whoosh. I saw you say Ernest. I didn't know what you talking about. But anyhow, I've been watching those. And I talk about language and the art of listening. Well, you can tell that the problem is definitely nation and worldwide. People throwing stuff, reading stuff into stuff that don't need to be, and all like that, and knee-jerking off of stuff because they ain't actually paying attention to what's actually going on. And they trying to make look stupid people that are far smarter than they are. Why don't you enlighten me, Avid? I totally didn't get what you was getting at. And it's then other things going on. Some getting ready to try to prevent others from doing a job they've been tasked to do. And the ones that are going to try to defend against it are going to find out they ain't as powerful as they think they are. I'm sitting back with my little proverbial pot of popcorn, sitting back watching and laughing at the idiocy. Yeah, I saw that. I remember saying, okay, so why no more piggy for the year? Or you just talking about, you must be just talking about the last few days we got it this year.
My fancy.
Because it's just a few days until next year. It's kind of like last day or two of the year, somebody says, all right, Rady, you take care of what needs to be. It's kind of like the last day or two of the year, you working or something, you tell somebody, well, I don't see you before then, I'll see you next year.
Yep.
There is another saying, it's not so nice. You fix me another pot of coffee?
Yes, I'll fix your pot of coffee.
I'm up, I might as well. I got to take my little mechanic stool and my grease gun out there to the van. I get done with this, I might take it out there, and then I might finally do a little bit with that out there. I really need to, but it's hard for me to get the gumption up. I sit here and keep hoping for the energy to do it. And I have done that, Christy. I'll have a cup or two left over from the day before, and I'll just heat that up and drink it. Kind of like when I was out in the field in the Marine Corps. I never really had time to take my MREs out of the pack, sort them out, and rehydrate them and heat them up and then drink them or eat them. So I ate mine dry. And I tell you what, the wax fruit that came out later wasn't no fun. That's literally what it was like. I tried to push out wax fruit. Y'all get the idea. So anyway, I'm watching all this stuff, getting updated and kept current rather than getting it sideways from Elaine when she comes across stuff. And if I allowed that, I would want to wait until I had the money to get the starter and the alternator. That way I could do it all at one time. And a serpentine belt. And possibly a tensioner pulley, if not the whole tensioner and pulley. That way, if you did come down, get all that knocked out at once, I wouldn't have to worry about it again. It's just hard for me to get out there and get the gumption up because hard for me to get any energy. And when we're doing that daily thing, sleep's broke up. I became a night owl partially with her, stayed up till 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and get up at 6:30, go take that trip, come back, sit around for an hour or two, then go back to bed till about 3:30. Get up and go pick her up, bring her back, and come back and sit here and oh no 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 no! I ain't got the money for that, Abbott. I ain't got the money yet for the starter and the alternator, much less a rebuild. I mean, the engine itself is fine. It's got a relatively new coil pack on it, and some plugs that ain't that old. Well, they're older, but they ain't got much use on them now yet. It does have a leak, but it's not nothing to worry about. It's an oil leak. Guy that put the little, what they call the octopus, you may know what I'm talking about, for the cooling system. One that put that in for me, I asked him about it. He was their resident Mopar expert. And I asked him about it. He told me, he said, I can rebuild it for you, get rid of it. But in 6 months, he said it'd be right back to where it's at right now. So I ain't going to worry about that. But, well, Christy, I kind of wish I could get back to doing the regular daytime thing, but it's just like my body don't want to. And, yeah, I couldn't afford a rebuild. Yeah, I figured you'd know, Abbott. I forget what it's actually called, but dude put it in. So that's what they call it. It's the octopus. See, but it had the radiator worked on because there was a stoppage. We didn't have no heat. So the other half of the troll up there took it up and worked on it. He blew it out. Well, apparently somebody had used some kind of stop leak or something on it. And all that stuff wound up in the bottom of the radiator. It was flowing, the heater was working, but when we got it back, the radiator cap wasn't on it good. It was just set on there. It wasn't tightened down. And he took and he blowed it out with pressure. That's true, Christy, but I'm hoping that's going to change within the year. Because hopefully good things are coming. But get rid of all that Brandonomics. Y'all know what I mean. But anyway, he took down that. Well, after that, we developed a leak in the coolant system. And it was coming from one of the tentacles where the rubber and the metal were meshed together. It blown that. So we had to order that part. We ordered that part. I was thinking about, putting it in myself, maybe getting my friend to come help me with it. Well, Avid, I call that half of the troll half done, half wet. He'd done it for me, so it didn't matter how it was done, that type of thing. So, oh, that ain't all he's done, Christy. That's neither here nor there for the moment. Not going to get into that much. I will allude to certain things, but I won't get in depth with those things because, you know, some things you just don't talk about with folks unless you know those folks are got half a brain to talk about it with. But anyway, so got the part, figured out real quick this short little dude with a fat gut with no jack wasn't no way he gonna be able to get up under that thing to replace that part. So we took it up to the boys I like to go to, and that boy he put it on a rack. He'd do some on top. He lift it up, do some on bottom. He let it back down, do some on top, raise it back up, do some on bottom. And I learned real quick that'd have been no way me and my friend could have gotten that thing in. I told that boy that. He goes, oh, no, you probably could have done it. I told him, I said, no, I said, you trying to be nice. I said, I recognize when there's something I can do and something I can't. I said, this is something I would not have been able to do. And I told him, I said, first of all, I'd have been on a gravel driveway. Second of all, I didn't have jack or jack stands to get it up on. Third of all, I didn't know anything about what I was getting into. So I told him, I said, I appreciate you trying to be nice and save my feelings. I said, but there ain't no feelings to save when I recognize and understand that it's something that I cannot do. He just kind of smiled and chuckled and said, okay. But anyway, that's just one of the many reasons why I call that one half done, half wet. The person I'm talking about that did it is the same one that I told you about the faucet outside. That told me he knew it wouldn't, even after I told him I knew it would because I've had to fix it. That was the one that did that work on the radiator part at that time. It's like the brakes here. He kept it up their place for a year and said he had it fixed. Okay. He hadn't done nothing to it, but he said he had it fixed. He said it was just a sensor. No, that right side keeps locking up. I think I know why. Those little slide pins in there, they get gummed up with old grease and sticky. I think that's the problem. Because I took his left side apart and took them pins out on the left side, I came to an understanding it might have been ready to start doing that same thing, locking up on me. And because it had that old sticky grease in it. So Christy, you need to figure out some way to work on all that. But anyway, I think that's what was wrong with the brake. He said he had it fixed. I thought, okay, he said he had it fixed. We're good to go. And I drove it down the road. We barely got it back because it was locking up again. on that right side. And then he tried to tell me that the problem I had with it was the problem I had on another car, not the van. I told him, I said, no, I'm talking about the van. He goes, no, you talking about this? No. He tried to tell me what problems I had with what and was wrong. But he got boisterous and tried to tell me I was wrong. Yeah, he's that much of a narcissist and a bully. I have noticed last couple of times that he's gone past the house and I happen to be outside. He's tried to wave. I just turn my head and walk on elsewhere. They finding out I ain't got no use for him no more. You gonna be like that? I ain't got no use for you. But yeah, Abbott, that's Abbott. I'm gonna look up a couple of videos when they was doing some work down in the what I call the lower drive. It goes to the basement, and his son-in-law, he's got a skid steer, not the kind with the tracks, just the kind with the wheels. And I'm going to show you a couple of videos to kind of show you I'm replacing those two catfish though, because I read up on that, and those rubber parts can get soft and close up. But the thing about it is, once it cools off, it'll let go. That's why I think it's that grease on them slide pins on the caliper. Because once it cools off, it lets go. But I did get those flexible brake line things that go from the metal tubing to the brake. I got those too. So I've done got the one on the left side. All I really got to do now is clean the rotor and put it back together. It's just getting the energy to get out there and do it. Yeah. And, so it would lock up. It has been. We was in visit my little sis, and it locked up on us real bad. The thing was so hot. When he fixed it down here, he had to get a new lug bolt to put in it because one of them broke off. It got that hot. So well, Christy Betts, if you look at things in a negative way, negative is what you're going to get.
It's all about the attitude.
All about the attitude. You start looking at things in a better light, try to think more positive about things, you'll start getting more positive coming around.
Yep.
You get what you put out. If you're putting off negative vibes, you're going to get negative come to you. You start putting out positive vibes, start looking for the silver lining in those clouds. Yeah, it's tough, it's bad, it's a pain in the butt. But you look at it and say, okay, well, that happened. Let's see what we got to do to fix it. Or what we can do to fix it. You know? So if you ain't got it to fix it, go back to the city for a while, regroup and recoup, and figure it out. You know, but saying things like that is negative. And if that's all you're doing is negative, all you're going to get is negative. Don't expect a positive from a negative. Good way of putting it, Catfish Dog. Reverse polarity. Yeah, there you go. Reverse that polarity, you might find some difference. I'm going to stop my cam for a second. I'm going to sip coffee. So anyway, yeah, but that's the one I told you about the faucet back there, the one doing the work on that's done work on the vehicles for us in the past. Now I call him half done, half wet. I'll give you another example on that old Dodge truck I had. It's something called a GS something. Anyway, you may know what I'm talking about. There's a part going out from the exhaust that before it fully went out to the exhaust, any gas that didn't explode in the chamber would get caught by this part and return to the gas line. And I was talking to him one day about it. When I mentioned that part, he looked at me like deer in the headlights. He had no clue what I was talking about. And this was on a 93 Dodge 3.9 liter.
You talking about that exhaust recirculator?
Yeah, it's called a GS something.
Yeah.
$40 is a lot of money. Well, you go back to sleep, River Rat. Sleep well. Yeah, ECM. Thanks, Catfish Dog. Now, this man has been in business as a mechanic 40 plus years. You'd think he'd remember things like that. But I was telling him about it, and he looked at me like I was crazy. GSEMA. Anyway, you fellas obviously know what I'm talking about. And but this man been in business as a mechanic for 40 plus years. He's the major donor to his 2 race cars, dirt tracks, that he works on. I'm sure he doesn't work on them so much anymore. But, you know, you can tell there's some mental decline going on there. Either that or he's actually half done, half wit, like I know he is. But every once in a blue moon, I'll happen to be outside when he goes by. He tries to wave now, and I just ignore him. Oh, okay, engine code for it. All right. Well, anyway, I had replaced that thing, and I was telling him about it, you know. And he just looked at me during the headlights. He had no clue what I was talking about. And folks, he actually made money as a mechanic, owned his own business. Got one of his sons, took over the business. son is better than he is. But I wouldn't claim by a whole lot. Because when it came to me, they just did the half butt version. Yeah, there's another term for that. Y'all know what it is, but I'm being nice. Because it was just coming to me. But so yeah, but I'm gonna send you a couple of videos showing you when they was doing some work down there in the lower driveway. Because one of his son-in-laws, maybe his only son-in-law, I don't know. Anyway, that was operating the skid steer. And allegedly he's made money with that skid steer. But when I show you what I'm going to show you, you're going to wonder how he did. Unless he was just ripping folks off. Well, I think he might be more than 2 cans, Teresa. Might be 3 or 4. But a lot of it's because of arrogance, narcissism, and being a bully. Unless he thinks it's right, it ain't right. You could show him in black and white from experts who've actually done the work. And if he don't agree with it, he'll say it's wrong. You know. Pretty sure I could tell him his son is right and he'd say it's not. He tried to bond with me one time. And we're down in the basement going to replace the water heater. We unscrewing the faucet on the bottom of the old one. It was kind of clogged up. We got it off. It was kind of clogged up. Took a screwdriver to it and watered it out. All that lime buildup. It finally started coming out. And, you know, pretty good. You know, like a water hose being turned on. He kind of smiled, looked at me and said, "That's pretty good stream." He said, "That's almost as big as my stream." I just kind of looked at him. I don't even like you, and you trying to bond with me like that? You creepy. The look I gave him was to let him know I thought he was being creepy. He's supposed to be a Holy Ghost filled man. I don't believe it. So anyway, that's the one that's done some of the work for us on our vehicles. And some of it we've had to turn around and take up to the boys I like up there and have them redo it. So it got done right. So, just bad situations. So those are the kinds of things I deal with that, and I've stopped dealing with it. You know, he without calling me a liar, he called me a liar on that faucet deal because he said it wouldn't freeze or bust. I told him it would because I've had to fix it. Yeah, I know it won't. Okay, you just called me a liar. So I've had nothing, no use for him since. Because he's a bullyish narcissist. He's arrogant as all get out. Yeah. Got me another sip of coffee. Yeah, after I get done with this, I may take that grease gun and that stool out there. I might see about trying to do a little bit with that. Just depends on how I feel. Gets kind of hard to feel any good about anything. Lack of energy. Most things hurt. I deal with it. It's just part of it. But it makes it hard to do anything other than just sit here. Yeah, but if I got the money to get the starter and the alternator and the serpentine belt, maybe the tensioner and tensioner pulley. Hadn't fully decided on that yet. If I had all that, I'd say come on. Knock it all out at one time. But so I've got a bunch of piecemeal tools, so I don't know. I've got enough at the moment, I think, to do and finish the brakes. But the starter and the alternator, I'll need to get me one of them little tools that allows you to take the pressure off the belt. That part of it. When it comes that time for that part. But anywho, a lot of it is that I'd like to actually do it myself and actually finish something. Yeah, I know about bleeding the line. The catfish dog, I've got all the parts to change all that. I bought the rotors, calipers, brake lines, all that. That way, just go ahead and replace it all. That way, I'm starting with fresh pads, fresh calipers, fresh pads, rotors, brake lines, all that. I've got them sitting in the van. That's easy to reduce the tension. Yeah, I've seen the concept of it. It's just a matter of being able to actually do it. I don't have the strength I used to have either. Whereas I used to toss a couch up over my head and hold it up with one hand and carry it wherever I wanted to take it. And I'm not talking about no light couch either. I'm talking about some of the big heavy ones. I have a hard time picking up a pitcher of water nowadays. That damaged my neck and my spinal cord and that surgery because of it. I tell folks Superman died. I used to do some surprising things strength wise that somebody as small as I am, you wouldn't have thought I could do. I drove lift trucks for a living. I used to lift my forks up off the floor and have it in a neutral gear, and I'd take and push it. We're talking about 5 tons, and I would do that for fun. And ladies that worked underneath me, they'd be in those big cages putting those cones in there, trying to pull them out from the machine so they could get out and finish filling up that cage. I'd pull up to the side of it, to the back of it. I'd grab the cage of the lift truck with one hand, and I'd grab the cage with the other hand, and I'd just pull it to me. And we're talking about anywhere from 450 to 700 pounds. I used to do that for fun. Nut on the tensioner pulley that reduces the tension. Now, I've seen on some of them, they've got a little slot there for like a 1/2-inch ratchet that you put in there and bring it down. I don't know if mine's got that or not. I'll need to look and see. But that's all I know about that so far. But that's the kind of strength I used to have. But for about 5 years before I took that final hit, I kept noticing I seemed to be losing strength. Well, all that mess that was going on inside of here was why. So, and then after my surgery, no, I'm about as strong as a 95-year-old man with problems. Yeah, I've looked them up on YouTube, Avid. And it's shown me I need to actually look at what I got. I haven't talked to look at that. Part of the reason is because I'm nowhere near ready to tackle that. So it still remains a question whether or not I can do it. Because even with some help, with leverage, I might have a hard time trying to do it because I might not have the strength. And if it means gripping it for any length of time, I may not be able to do it because it don't take but a minute or two for me to lose grip. So it might be that I just won't be able to do it. So those are just facts of life. The reality is I have to. Well, catfish dog, that's what I'm talking about. Even with a cheater bar. Like I said, I have a hard time lifting up a pitcher of water out of the fridge. It makes me grunt. That's how little of strength I have anymore. We go get 40-pound cat litter and 40-pound bag of cat food every month. It's all I can do to pick them things up. And I try to get them situated to where I don't have to carry them far. We'll put them in the buggy, take them out to the car, and I'll lift it into the trunk. Then we'll get home. I'm able to manage getting it up on my shoulder to carry it in. But it takes so much out of me, and I'm so out of breath after I do that I had to sit down for a while.
I offer to help, but it gets on to me.
She in worse shape than I am when it comes to strength. So, yeah, I know about cheater bars, catfish dog, but you know, well, all I got right now is the brake parts, Avid. It'd be kind of a wasted trip to just do that part, but that's just the reality of it. I ain't got the strength no more, and it might take me weeks to get the gumption up to do one thing because of lack of energy and the aches and pains that come with being in the kind of shape I am. I doubt I got that kind of room, catfish dog, and even if I did, I don't know if it would help. You know, consider it this way. Take the strength of a 5-year-old, and even with a big long cheater bar, would that 5-year-old be able to do it? Not very likely. And that's about the kind of strength I got. Sometimes, like that 5-year-old, I have to grab that pitcher of water and put the other hand underneath it in order to keep from spilling it. Ginger! I saw you pop up there. So that you know, the dog, what you got to understand is the damage to my neck wasn't just the discs. There was shards of stuff floating around the spinal fluid, sawing on my spinal cord. Well, I've got the weight, but anyway, I had shards of stuff floating around the spinal fluid inside my spinal column. And my spinal column from a birth defect is a good bit smaller than it's supposed to be. So those shards were sitting there around my spinal cord, sawing on my spinal cord. When they operated on me, backtrack! When they operated on me, they weren't expecting me to live because of the damage. They wasn't expecting me to move neck down if I did. So they were rather happy when they found out I was moving my toes. God did that. God gave me just enough to where I could walk around and wipe my own butt, so I wouldn't be too much of a burden. But as I said, anything requires grip. If it takes more than a minute or two, I won't be able to do it because I lose grip. It's not that I try to lose grip. It's just that I can be holding on to something and it'll just slip right out of my hands even though I'm trying to hold it with all that I am. It don't work. I just don't have the strength for it, and I don't have the signal strength, if you will, to hold on because of that damage to the spinal cord itself. It's like my nerve impulses from the brain has to take turns with other things before it can go through. That's why sometimes I almost fall, because I'll go to stand up and it's like the signal cuts off and I about fall. So, you know, something people don't really realize with what I got going on inside of there is the severity of the damage was pretty bad. And then those types of surgeries, I'd always known it, but I've gotten to find out for myself, those types of surgeries will make you 2 to 3 decades older on the inside than what you actually are. All right, backtrack. You make it breakfast. Well, I wish I could. Bacon, eggs, and biscuits and gravy. Oh, man, I'm going to tell you what. So anyway, that's the kind of thing I'm facing with all that. Then there's sometimes, you know, there'll be a joint let loose or shoot a pain through it and cause me to have to let go of something or get me in a bad way. Sometimes I can turn just a little bit and my back will go into a fit. A catfish dog, you know, right now I'm kind of like Lieutenant Dan being pulled out the jungle by Gump. I'm still shooting off. That's about all I can do, because everything else is all but dead. I mean, I wish that would work, but it don't. I've tried to do it to myself. It just ain't working. Coffee time. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those invisible disabilities or diseases that people can't see, so therefore can't fully understand because they can't see it. I can't even drop catfish. Because if I drop, there's going to be damage done. And then there's going to be trying to get me back up. I mean, I appreciate the attempt at a kick in the butt, but, you know, you really can't kick something into action that ain't got no action to kick into. But again, you know, it wasn't just this that got replaced, plus a titanium plate. There's actual nerve damage done to the spinal cord that had them wondering if I was even going to come up off the table. Not move neck down if I did. You know, so by all rights, I should be dead because of it. But, slow ain't even the word for it, Ginger. Quite possibly, Evan. And if the earthquake happens, that means the head might hit. If the head hits, it's going to possibly finish off the job with my neck. I know it's all in good fun, Catfish. Like I said, I appreciate the attempt, but you got to understand. That's why they listed me as 100% disabled. You know, if not for God, I'd be in a wheelchair.
If it wasn't for God, you'd be paralyzed from the neck down.
Yeah. That's why I said when they found out I was wiggling my toes, they all but threw a party because they was not expecting me to be able to walk. They wasn't actually expecting me to move neck down. They saw I was. You got that right, dog. Ginger says, "Good morning, Elaine."
What?
Ginger said, "Good morning."
Good morning.
She over there got her headphones on, playing with her phone. Virginia Alexander, howdy.
I'm sitting over here trying to catch my breath.
Right.
This stuff's got me down and out.
Coffee time.
You need coffee?
No.
Oh, you got coffee, okay.
That's true, Tim. There ain't nobody safe. Life is what it is in the world that it is, and ain't nobody safe. So anyway, I might eventually get it done. But of course, if I get the left side done, might find out how much it would cost me to take it up to the boys up there and get them to do the right side. K-Dog Rod is responding. Respooled. Okay, Rod is it respooled. I was having a hard time reading that. Looking at it, what in the world? Anyway, that's the plan. Whether or not it gets done, I don't know. I just take it one day at a time, see what's going to be. With that new suffix. K-Dog, is that what you're talking about with the new suffix? Yeah, I can get with that with nicknames. Yeah, I slept a lot. That was real good for me. I know you did. I saw you in that short with Sia playing around having a good time. I seen that short that Joe did on that new bathroom. Now, is that down there in y'all's place, or is that something else he did somewhere else?
Right.
Yeah, I can go with that new suffix if that's what it was, K-Dog. Which brings something up. Nicknames I can get into. But don't ask me to call something what it ain't. If you want me to abdicate reality and fact in order to accommodate delusion, we got no common ground. We got nothing to conversate about. Oh, okay. Now, see, I can dig that. That I can get into. That's a reality thing. Gremlin rods. What are they, short and maned? That was a job in Gainesville. Oh, okay. Well, it was a nice job nonetheless. More power to him. I've tried to do bits and pieces of remodeling. I don't like it. Having to go in and try to figure out somebody else's half-done mess. I've been up underneath houses to redo plumbing. They had coiled soft copper tubing with water line in it, just stretched out from one point to the next. Freezes up and you have to go under there and fix it. And then you see what kind of mess that is. I got a real good respect for folks that do remodeling, because you're not just building something. You got to unbuild other people's stupidity and then do it right. The twins. Yeah, I don't like remodeling work. I've had to do work on this house over the years. Since I didn't have a lot to work with, I was just having to do things piecemeal. If somebody knows what they're doing, comes in behind what I've done, they'd probably say the same thing about what I've done, but they don't understand it. I didn't have but so much to work with. Oh, oh Lord, there's two of you. Oh my gosh. Dog, I don't know if we can handle that. Yeah, Ginger, that remodeling stuff. Somebody knows how to go in and clean up a mess and make it turn out nice like that. I got much respect for her. Had to go in and figure out their mess and then get it fixed right. I've seen videos on stuff like that. I've seen stuff that even had me going, oh man, that's messed up. And Ginger, I hope you get those little things I send out every day. I don't never see no indication that you have or not. It's just a little funny I do. It's a Snapchat thing. I'll find me a part of a song that they offer on there. Try to find a group that I like. And then I'll pair it with one of the filters kind of make it funny. Like I said, dog, I don't know if the world can handle two of you. That could be a tricky situation. Elaine's got friends that are twins, and of course now you can tell some difference between the two. Some. I don't know so much about when they were younger because I've only seen them last several years at this age.
Tracy and Stacy.
Yeah.
They're not quite identical twins. There's always been a difference.
And then
right called apart.
And then she's got some little cousins that are twins.
They're identical.
They're identical. There is a tell.
Yeah. One's had her teeth fixed.
But you have to look really, really hard.
Yeah.
To tell the difference.
Oh, big difference now. One's got tattoos that you can tell the difference from. Yeah.
Well, behavior and attitude is a lot of it.
Yeah. When they were kids, I don't know. But now as adults, you can call them apart. No problem.
But, yeah, I stayed up late like I normally do, went to bed, slept, I think, a couple of hours, and things going on woke me up. Then I tried to go back to sleep. Just wasn't happening. So I thought, well, I didn't do a video for today. So since I was up, figured I'd just make it alive. Yeah, that stuff going around pretty bad. Last night, I front of my head right here felt like I was running through mud. That was the comparison I gave Elaine. Except it was up here. Salmon cheese ball.
That sounds good.
That's something Virginia Alexander sent to Ginger an email.
I like all types of cheese balls. I don't care what kind they are, but salmon cheese balls are really good.
Here we go with the food talk.
I just said it sound good.
Virginia started it. I'm going to blame you, Virginia. It never fails. Almost every live I've gone to, and my lives, food is inevitably going to come up. Yeah. Evidently, there was a picture in that email because Ginger's saying it looks delicious. Well, it probably is, Ginger. I mean, you got salmon and you got cheese. What's not delicious about that? As long as it's done right. Dog, another thing about that nerve damage, I'm sitting here doing stuff. I'll be playing games on my phone or I can be doing the crochet. And sometimes my fingers will lock up and do funny things. And I'm sitting there having to try to push them back right. They just log up. Well, Virginia, you might have to send that one to Elaine then if you love sharing recipes. Time for a sip of coffee. Oh, Elaine would love that.
What's that?
She said there's horseradish in it too.
Oh yeah.
Y'all just don't know. Elaine likes horseradish, Chinese mustard, wasabi. Mama Linda!
Hi, Mama Linda.
I got a couple of hours and got woke up, and since I didn't do a video, I decided to do this. Just so you're up to date, Mama Linda. I got other things I want to try to do after I'm done. Just have to see if I feel like it once I am done. Y'all started talking about food, my belly started going, hello. So just look her email up on her channel, Virginia, and send it to her. She might take and make it. I've only got my one little light on up here. I've got my computer turned this way, so it don't really show her. She's up back there in the dark anyhow.
Yeah, I got a pussy cat in my lap.
Well, at least it ain't the pain in the butt one.
She's outside.
That's a large part of the reason why I'm up. Is the one she said is now outside. So, anywho,
Anywho.
yeah, they was talking about that K-Dog thing a while ago. Crossover Paranormal Society, howdy.
Hello.
But the nicknames and stuff. Nicknames are cool.
I don't got one. Never had one.
Huh. Now that you said that, I'm sure one of these witty ones will figure out something for you. Avid might. Catfish Dog's in there too, so he might. But on the nickname thing, nicknames I can dig, they're cool. But other stuff, if it's not factual, if it's not reality, and it means I have to abdicate reality and facts to support, we got no conversation. Because I'm not going to give up reality to support delusion. Now, you do fiction and fantasy and all like that. That's fine. But if you want me to accept delusional fiction and delusional fantasy as a reality, nah, I ain't got no time for that. You know, you can dream and fantasize about different things of what could be. But when it goes against certain things and it's demanded you accept it as reality when it's a delusion, I can't go there. We got no talk. And I ain't apologetic for that. Talk to me. Be factual about it. Make sure it's known that one thing's fantasy world, putting on an act. The other things are reality. How's that, dog? Of course, if you look at it in a spiritual sense, this is a virtual reality to reality. But it still doesn't make it fantasy as a reality. Oh, yeah, they're definitely far apart. But there's some that want to make you think that they're the same. Fiction is reality. They want to force you to accept fiction as reality. That's delusional. Yeah, I got that dog. Freshman college reading level by the time I was in the sixth grade here. Went to ITT and got an associate's degree in computer engineering and electronics in my mid 40s. All those formulas and the physics and trigonometry was not fun. I was actually able to do it. Guess my mind was ready for it. It wasn't ready for it when I was in high school. But by my 40s, my mind was ready for it. But it wasn't fun. All right, Abbott, go do your rounds. I won't guarantee I'll still be here by the time you get back. How long does it take you to do a round? But my time at ITT was kind of fun. 1 minute if it's Tyson. Okay, no idea. I know kind of what Abbott does, but I don't know for who or where or anything like that. Maybe an hour. I don't know that I'll be here that long. So stay safe out there. Do what you got to do. And we'll see you next time. Oh, I might have to cut this off soon. I'm feeling the results being leaned forward like this. How long around? Okay. I'm a little slow on that kind of stuff, dog. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut this off. I've been on here long enough, been in y'all's ear. Right. Well, I ain't that much into sports, and I was really disappointed in all that because you know the all rights Tyson should have tore him up in that first round. So it was just a money thing. I should have known that's what it was. So that's on me for that part of it. But you know, he got that boy some major money, and he got some major money, and Vegas was the biggest winner out of everybody on that. Because you got to know how many people were going for Tyson. It should have been a no-brainer, even with the age difference. Tyson was a monster when he was in it professionally doing it. He was an absolute monster. Back years ago, I done some of those squats he does called Tyson's. Let me tell you, you wouldn't think they're as hard as they are. They're harder. So it was just a show. Wonder how many people got took on that. All right, dog, you take care. I think I'm going to go too. Being leaned over like that's having its effect on me. I'll just leave it at that. So, you all have a good Saturday and a good morning. What's unacceptable? Backtrack. Y'all me going ahead and taking off from here. I'm going to have to disagree with you because these things starting to take effect. It's not going to be too good on me if I don't uh, get off of here and resituate myself. So with that said, Piggy loves you.